available on Council's website. Those in attendance should refrain from making defamatory statements. Let us acknowledge the Wiradjuri people, their elders past and present, traditional custodians of the land we now share. Let us be inspired by the resilience, innovation and perseverance of past generations. Let us honour those who protect this great land, and may you draw strength from your God or faith so that we may here today, on behalf of our community, build a vibrant future together. Okay, in the business. Okay, are there any apologies this evening? Mr. General Manager, you're acting General Manager? Yeah, there you go. Acting General Manager.
And the General Manager, Grant Baker.
Yeah.
Yep.
The General Manager, Grant Baker. Yep. Yes, that's fine. Are there any others?
So, no.
Okay, very good. Okay, disclosure of interest this evening.
Here you are.
Okay, very good. Okay, we've got several disclosures of interest this evening. One from Councillor Minogue. They've got something to do with the bowling club. They made an application in agenda item 6.18. We've gone here from Councillor Lord, agenda 6.9. He's on the board of the Country Education Foundation. We've got one here from Councillor McGlynn. Similar situation, 6.9. She's involved in the community funding organisations as well. I don't think any of those are pecuniary. I don't think we need to deal with those. Do I need a mover to?
They need to be acknowledged.
Yeah, we need a mover to acknowledge those. Can I have a mover to acknowledge those, please? Councillor Minogue, Councillor Crowe. All those in favour?
Aye.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Confirmation of the minutes. Can I have a mover to confirm the minutes, please? Councillor Minogue, Councillor Fennell. Are there any corrections, councillors, or comments? If there are none, I'll put the motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
I declare it carried. Okay, move on to 6. Reports from staff, section 1, executive services. 6.1, the monthly status report. Council meeting actions on page 6. Have a mover. Those recommendations, that reports be adopted. Councillor Minogue, seconder. Councillor Henderson. Councillor Minogue, is there anything that you want brought to our attention? Councillor Henderson.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, just the bushfire-prone land mapping. Is there any further update on that information on the bush?
Mr. Acting General Manager.
Yes, sir.
land?
Through the Mayor, there has been no update. It's still in hiatus. Yeah.
Very good. Are there any other questions from any other councillors regarding the monthly status report?
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Just on the co-funding with the proposed backstrip, something that liaise with Transport for New South Wales ongoing regarding new intersection of new highway to allow improved access. I noticed there's a lot of work going on
Yeah, there are.
at the entrance to the airport. Is that being funded through this or us or Transport for New South Wales?
Okay. As the work that's being carried out currently at the airport is not the intersection, it's from the intersection into the airport. It's part of the enabling works. What we did is we made an agreement with the LRCI that all this work, which is done underneath the control of the airport manager, has proceeded to meet the grant guidelines. Right? Are you with me? The actual other work hasn't commenced yet, which is the projects that we will be funding.
Thank you.
Very good. Are there any other questions regarding the monthly status report, councillors? If there are none, I'll put the recommendation that council receive and note the monthly status report, council meeting actions, March 2026. All those in favour? I declare it carried. To page 11, yeah. 6.2, the risk, work, health and safety quarterly report. There's a recommendation there that council receive and note the risk, work, health and safety report for the quarter ending March 2026. Have a mover for that, Councillor Lord. Seconder, Councillor Brooks. Yes, I was going to say Henderson and I stopped myself. Okay, so off we go. Councillor Lord, would you like to say something?
I think it's pretty straightforward, that particular one. It's there, and we basically trying to keep all these accidents down, and the notifications are there. So it's just that there are still a few trips and that in the community. That's the main thing I'm concerned about.
So you, regards to footpaths and things like that.
That's what it'll be. But let's
We've
look.
got it. How's,
Let's look at that in budget.
but on that question, Mr. Acting General Manager, our footpaths program, is that progressing?
We are obviously through the mayor. Anywhere there's been a serious situation, we've endeavoured to do it, and you can see that locally. But the scale of, if we're to deal with every potential trip hazard, right, we need additional funding. But we have approached the active transport grant funding, so we should hear in May whether the funding will come through to fund some additional works.
Yep.
Okay, Councillor Brooks. Right. If there's no further comments from any other councillors, I'll put the motion that council receive and note the risk work health and safety report for the quarter ending March 2026. All those in favour? So carried. On to page 15. 6.3, the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee. There's a recommendation there, 1, that the minutes of the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee meeting held on the 7th of April 2026 be received and noted, and 2, that council support the establishment of a separate tourism website that is readily discoverable, provides a tourism-focused and optimised user experience, and make provision within the 2026-2027 budget. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Brooks, and the seconder, Councillor Fennell. Councillor Brooks, would you like to speak to us?
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The minutes, happy for them to be received and noted. However, as the chair, I would like to make a couple of small amendments to that. I haven't had the opportunity to make those amendments as yet, so only minor. But yeah, I would like to make them.
So just to get this straight, so you're happy, you're happy with the minutes, or you're not happy with the minutes? You're happy with, not happy with the minutes?
I'm not happy with the minutes.
Okay.
We can note them. However, I would like to make one or two small adjustments.
Yeah. Would you like, what sort of issues do you have? Are they major issues, or are they typos, or are they?
No, not a typo. No.
It's an issue.
An issue.
Minutes themselves.
There's a part of it that wasn't added. The follow-up number 10. There was more to it than is noted in there.
Yeah, point of order on that one. No, if that's the case, then I think the motion should be withdrawn. Because effectively, if we're assuming that these minutes have been confirmed, effectively, so I don't think we can adapt them, and therefore I think the motion will lapse.
Yep, I'm also happy for the second part of that to go through. However, if we want to get rid of that whole motion, we can. Is that what we need to do? We need to get rid of the whole thing. Or number 2, separate motion.
So it's already in. Do we need this motion or not?
Number 2, you said we do need the, we will need the motion, but it's been incorporated into the draft, which council will consider in May.
Okay, so
It's in the
the
budget.
motion
The way we've already-
doesn't really mean anything. Right, I've been advised that we can deal with the second part of this motion
Website.
because it has been included in the council's draft budget, which will come up for further discussion. So we could move the second part of this motion, and it'll still have to be dealt with within the budget itself.
Budget, yeah.
So we can put it through now, but it's not really going to make any difference to.
It's not. It's basically the second part of it is only that the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee actually support the separate tourism website, and it is already included in the budget. So if anyone wants to discuss it, we can discuss it in the budget. This is just basically to say that the committee does support that.
Would you like to make that statement that, and we can just put that through as a motion, but make that the motion?
Yep.
That
and we can
the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee supports the establishment of a separate tourism website, and make that the motion. Can you write that down for me, please, Laura?
Yep.
Okay, that the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee supports a separate tourism website, and we'll leave it at that.
I'd like to further recommendation on this. we have an excellent website and we have a tourism section on the website. I think that we should have discussion. We've got the best tourism officer we've had, he can write, actually well, it's well, we've had in many, many years. And I'd like further discussion with her. When this was in the budget, I had no idea that this was going to be a separate website from the Shire Council. Now, this committee is part of the Shire Council.
Yeah.
And we have an excellent tourism, and I would like to see further discussion with the full council about this, how this works, because this is separating this committee out as something separate from the general council.
Point
And I
taken.
just think it should take further discussion.
Right, well, I need a seconder for that amendment. Councillor Lloyd, are you seconding that
I'll
amendment?
second it, yeah, because I think everything should be in the budget.
Would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, well, I just don't think there should be anything in these business papers that are actually committing us to funds in budgets. I think the budgetary is a totally separate discussion. I think that, and that'll come up 2 or 3 times tonight, because effectively we're committing things to the budget without having a good budget discussion. So at this stage, yes, I'm happy with the original motion that, yes, you want a separate website, but I'm not happy with including it in the budget right now until we have budgetary
It's
discussion.
already in the budget, Tony.
One at a time. Councillor Brooks, you can have right of reply. Once Councillor Lloyd's finished, you can have right of reply.
We're saying it's in the budget now, but the budget has not been confirmed. So it needs discussion.
Very good. Councillor Brooks?
I believe that that's not what this is about. I don't believe that by allowing part 2 of this motion is that we're allowing it to be put into the budget. What this says is that this committee supports the establishment of a separate tourism website. So all we're doing is noting that the committee supports it. This is not making a decision on the budget. All it is noting the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee opinion on that budget item. That is it. There is no decision making within that.
I withdraw my comments on that one, and I'm sorry, I've just read the paper. Right.
Yes, you may.
If we support this means that we don't have this is an alternate website at the cost of $25,000 to our council Visitors Economy website. Now, you've got 2 different websites.
I
just think this is the part that should have, I would like it deferred, so we have full discussion on this. We are not 2 different branches. We've got one. Shire Council is our main game, and what they have on their website is the main game.
But we just clarify, we've been in debate. So we just clarify that the motion was altered to just that the committee recommends. So it's just noting that the committee has recommended a separate website.
It hasn't said it firmly.
No. The committee has recommended that, they want it noted that they've recommended a second website. So that is the motion. So now I could move your amended motion, which is defer 6.3, the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee. So I'll put the amended motion first. All those in favour of deferring this decision? Okay, all those in favour, okay, 2, 3, righto. All those in favour of noting that the Visitor Economy and Growth Committee supports a separate website, noting the fact that they support a separate website. All those in favour? Okay, declare that carried. So all they're doing in this, say that again, all they're doing in this motion is declaring that the Visitor Economy Growth Committee's opinion is that they want a separate website, not that it's actually done. Okay? Right, very good. We'll move on to page 19, which is for
Australia Day Awards.
6.4, the Shire Australia Day Awards Committee. The recommendation is that the minutes of the Australia Day Awards Committee meeting held on the 10th of March 2026 be received and noted. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Crowe, Councillor Lord. Do we need discussion on this?
Can I just make a comment?
You may, Councillor McGlynn.
I heard, I know we talked about the number of people that attended and there should have been more or whatever. I heard quite a number of people tell me that this was one of the best I wasn't there, I was unwell. One of the best Australia Day Award evenings they'd had because it moved quickly and it was a very hot day and I was out of there by 7:30.
Okay.
And I think if we increase the numbers exponentially, it slows things down. But this was really, really, they said it was the best one that they'd had.
Okay. Noted. Noted. Right. Anyone else like to make a comment on item 6.4? Councillor Minogue.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. The point about the numbers, for Councillor McLean, there was disappointment that nominees couldn't have both their parents.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I'll say that. I'll correct that. That's terribly care.
Particularly.
So we need that noted as well.
Yeah.
Very good.
You should have.
If there's no further comments, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Okay. So move over to page 22. 6.5, the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee, ARIC. There's recommendation there that Council notes the minutes of the ARIC held on the 4th of March 2026. The mover, please. Councillor Minogue, and seconder, Councillor Lord. Councillor Minogue, do you need to speak to this? No. Councillor Lord, do you need to speak to it? No. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Aye. Carried. Move on to section 2, Corporate and Community Services on page 28. Point 6, the Finance and Investment Report for March 2026. There's a recommendation there, one, that Council receive and note the information contained within the Finance and Investment Report for the month of March 2026. And 2, that Council confirms the payment of accounts for the period 1 March to 31 March 2026, totalling $5,900,725.62. Have a mover, please. Councillor Brooks, seconder. Councillor Carnegie. Councillor Brooks, did you want to speak to this?
I think
Councillor Carnegie, would you like to speak to it? No. Okay. Anyone else here that councillors like to speak to this? No. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? I declare it carried. We'll move on to page 36. Okay, 6.7, endorsement of the updated financial reserves policy. Okay, there's a recommendation where that Council 1 endorse the updated financial reserves policy to be placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, commencing on the 24th of April 2026 in accordance with the legislative requirements of the Local Government Act 1993. And 2, should any submissions be received that the proposed changes, if there's any substantial post-public exhibition changes proposed for any other reasons, a report be submitted to Council for the consideration, detailing the amendments and further recommendations regarding adoption. And 3, should there be no submissions received proposing changes through the public exhibition process, or there are no substantial post-public exhibition changes proposed for any other reasons, the updated financial reserves policy be considered as formally adopted by Council. Can I have a mover? Councillor Lord. Seconder? Councillor McGlynn. Councillor Lord, off you go.
Basically, I think, this is a common sense approach to what we've actually seen and had in the past. The fact that by combining and having lesser number of reserves, we can actually then follow it and people will be able to follow it. You can still have your subsections in your reserves like is actually demonstrated in the policy, and that's important. But effectively, by looking at that and then in budget discussions, transferring money into reserves for various projects effectively means they get done better and we can follow it a lot easier. And makes reporting to us and makes explanation to the community far, far easier.
Simpler approach. Okay. Councillor McGlynn, would you like to speak to it?
The part about it that I like to do, I presume every council has to do it. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
But it is the checks and balances that are in here on our financial position that we get, you hear so much about councils wasting money and throwing it this and that. There are built-in checks and balances But really, should the public should know about, and this is why I support it.
Yeah, it's good. Are there any other comments from any other councillors? If there aren't any, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? I declare it carried. We'll move on to page 50. Okay, 6.8, adoption of the Code of Meeting Practice and Public Forum Policy. The recommendation that Council adopts the amended Code of Meeting Practice and Public Forum Policy. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Lord and Councillor Henderson. Councillor Lord, would you like to speak to this?
I think basically we've been through the discussion. It's been out on public exhibition. No comments. The fact that we just need to formally endorse it, and that's fine.
Councillor Henderson, you endorse Councillor Lord's comments. Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? I declare it carried. We'll move on to page 52.
Excuse me, Mr Mayor. before
Yes,
we
Councillor Minogue.
Move on. Under section 8.1 of the Code of Conduct, having just attended some training last week with Councillor Henderson.
The meeting practice.
Yeah, the
Code of Meeting Practice.
yeah, Code of Meeting Practice. Yeah. The thing that I would like to see included in our agenda as a standing item, so that it's there and available, is 8.18, notices of motion and questions with notice. If we could just have that.
Included in our meeting practice.
Yes.
Okay. So 8.1, can you make a note of that, Laura?
What was the second part?
It's just
Notices of motion
and questions without notice. Questions with notice.
Yes.
Questions with notice.
Oh, yeah, I was just checking that it was noticed.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Just ask the mover and seconder whether they're happy to include it.
Okay, are the mover and the seconder of the recommendation happy to include those? They are?
Yes.
Mover, Councillor Lord, you're happy to include that? Okay, very good. All right, so I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Very carried. Very good. It seemed to work fairly smoothly. Wonder what's going on there. Okay. We'll move on to page 52. 6.9, the Blanchard Council Community Funding Allocations. There's a recommendation there that Council 1 approve the following applications for funding in the amount of $46,000 from the identified funds for the amounts requested. So would you like me to go through them? Will you read them? No. Okay. All right.
It's more.
Okay. And 2, the request from the West Wyland Garral Football and Netball Club for the amount of $2,975 be met with funds from the Community Facilities Reserve. 3, allocate the amount of $8,850 as requested by the Ungary Showground, Racecourse and Recreation Reserve Committee as part of the 2026-2027 budget. And 4, directional signage as requested by the Ungary Advancement Group be addressed through the Council's annual operational work. Right, would you like me to deal with these all together or deal with them separately? All together? Everyone happy with that? Okay, all right. Can I have a mover for this motion, please? Councillor Minogue, can I have a seconder? Councillor Carnegie. Councillor Minogue, would you like to speak to it? Councillor Carnegie, would you like to speak to it?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that and I think everyone will acknowledge this, the process that we went through to allocate this funding was very thorough and comprehensive and certainly very collegiate in the approach. Yep.
Very good. Okay, well, if there's no further discussion from any other councillors, we'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried. Doing to page 57. 6.10, the Youth Services Officer position and programming continuation. The recommendation there that Council 1 endorses the continuation of a designated youth centre, including a dedicated youth services officer in its current format funded under the SCCF grant, and 2, allocate sufficient funds within the 2026-2027 budget and future budgets to meet the cost of staffing the youth centre. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Brooks, can I have a seconder? Councillor Fennell. Councillor Brooks, would you like to speak to it?
No, I don't, thank you.
Councillor Fennell, would you like to speak to it?
I would just like to say, if I may, through you, Mr Mayor, that we have got significant evidence there displaying what a benefit this centre has had. And I think we need to take all this into consideration whilst we're making those decisions.
Very good. Any other councillors like to make a comment? Councillor Crowe.
Yeah, fully supportive of the youth centre, fully supportive of having a staff member there. But I'm just curious whether we should be allocating sufficient funds within this budget and future budgets.
Here.
I think that is, I think that is fair comment.
I think it might be.
Would you like to move an amendment?
Make consideration when setting the budget to include it, but.
So you'd like to amend the.
Well, that motion there is saying that we are setting funds aside for
I'll second
this
the amendment.
budget and future budgets.
I'll second the amendment.
Okay, so you'd like it to allocate sufficient funds within the 2026-27 budget to meet the cost of staffing the youth centre and discussion about future budgets. Is that what you would?
I would like it to, that we consider
For the 26th.
Consider staffing.
Consider
future-
funds through this budget and future budgets.
I think that would, yeah. I don't think that would fit with, I think you'd need an alternate motion, wouldn't you?
Mr Mayor, I don't think as a council we're here now to make decisions about future
No.
councils or in 12 months' time. We don't know what's going to happen.
Well, that's right. That's the point that Councillor Crowe made.
And
So I think the second part of this, allocate sufficient funds within the 2026-2027 budget, full stop.
Yeah.
Okay. You may,
Sorry.
Director.
Sorry, through you, Mr Mayor, just so I can be clear for the future operations. Your comments relate to council staff putting a case every year for the youth centre when the budgets are being considered?
From what I understand, Councillor Crowe's point is
But
that
maybe when the general manager does his next operational staffing plan, it's included in there. And when we vote on that, it doesn't have to be discussed. It's automatically in the budget.
Okay.
Because this was never in our budget.
No,
It comes through funding.
yes.
So what we would be
Here.
deciding tonight is to put it in the budget for the next 50 years. Well, essentially the next 5 years.
And until there is a review of services provided by council and then any
so we just
involvement that person
so we're just
would-
committing to this
Yeah.
budget,
Yeah.
Yes.
and any future funding will have to be discussed. Councillor Brooks.
Question.
Ken.
Oh, Councillor. Jeez, they got out of it.
Through you, Mr Mayor, question for Director Bowen. Sufficient funds, will we find out what the sufficient funds are? Will the
Director.
funds be in the, advised in the budget or?
Yep, through you, Mr Mayor, are you talking sufficient funds in relation to the staffing?
Cost of staff.
I think that's actually included in the financial implications. I thought I had included that. It says the financial, should council determine it wishes to continue the youth space operations in its current format, being a youth services officer employed, they are employed at a particular grade and paid approximately $31 per hour and employed for 21 hours per week.
Plus on costs.
You have funds remaining within the budget because of the current grant. I could do the calculations very quickly, but perhaps not.
How much is it, Tony?
Were there other staff, were the other existing staff required to fill that role, they would be paid at a higher rate of pay. they would have additional hours. It would be an additional, it actually works out about the same amount of funds. And I can give you an exact figure, but it would be, I would need a minute to figure that out, which I did have written down.
Could I ask a question?
Councillor Lord.
Basically, I support what Councillor Crowe has said. Firstly, I endorses the continuation of the designated youth centre, including the youth in its current funded format under the grant, full stop. But I still believe that, again, putting up motions to commit funding at a meeting like this without discussing the budget is inappropriate. This discussion should happen when we are discussing the budget and the overall big picture items of the whole of the situation. We're putting lots of little things in together, and we could.
So you want, no, I know where you're coming from. So you want to amend this motion to just item 1 only?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Have you got a seconder for that amendment?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, Councillor McGuinness, I'll put that amendment. All those in favour?
Can I just respond to
You may respond.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The cost for having a youth services officer would be approximately $34,000 per year.
35, I calculate.
Plus on costs being superannuation.
Very good.
Thank you.
So I'll put the amended motion that Council endorses the continuation of a designated youth centre, including a dedicated youth services officer in its current format, funded under the SCCF grant. Period. All those in favour? I declare that carried.
Sorry, can I just get a clarification from the council?
You may.
I just need to be clear, again, councillors, we do not include the youth service officer in the budget for 26-27. Is that what you're saying?
We're saying we can consider it within the budget when we actually have a look and discuss the budget. Effectively, if we're going to be dumped with a series of papers, if you're going to be dumped with a series of papers when we turn up for the extraordinary meeting without actually going and analysing effectively all the expenditure items, then I will move a motion to defer the budget until we've had a look at it.
If I may, not wanting to enter the debate, the purpose of these reports coming is so that this information can then be factored into the budget. Councillors will then be in a position to either adopt the budget as it is presented or reject the budget and those elements that have come through resolutions of council over the past however many months.
You may.
Are we going to have a separate
It's ridiculous.
a budget evening maybe next Tuesday? We're adding a lot of extra things to the budget, so
Correct.
I really haven't got a clue where we are. I just don't know.
I think what Councillor McGinn's saying is that there's been additions to the budget that councillors haven't been aware of, and they'd like time to consider those.
Absolutely.
To the budget.
I think this was all included
We have it next Tuesday.
a few weeks ago.
Okay, well, they still need clarification, I feel.
That's fine.
They still need clarification. So I think we're still with this motion. Endorses the continuation of a designated youth centre, including a dedicated youth services officer in its current format funded under the SCCF grant. And I'll put that motion and all those in favour. Have I carried that?
Yeah.
So I think that's it. And I think as part of the budget discussion, we'll need more discussion on these issues. Obviously, it's not clear to the council.
I seconded it.
Okay. Right. So we'll move on to 6.11 on page. Councillor Pennell?
Just a point of clarification on it. The original motion as it was put was moved by Councillor Brooks and seconded by myself. Now it's been amended. What happens to what was moved and what was seconded?
What happens is the amendment has to be dealt with first.
It becomes the motion.
So the amendment becomes the motion. So then the original motion is changed and it's finished.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to page 63, 6.11, change of date, West Wyalong Show. So the recommendation there that council make application to the New South Wales Industrial Relations for the local part-day public holiday between the hours of 12 noon and 6 p.m. for the West Wyalong Show to be changed from Wednesday 2nd of September to the newly requested date of Wednesday 9th of September 2026, covering the whole Bland Shire local government area. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Brooks, seconder? Councillor Crowe. Councillor Brooks.
I'm curious about this one. In our papers, we weren't actually given the reason why they want to move the date. Although it is not our decision is obviously to allow the partial public holiday to be changed from the 2nd to the 9th. And I do note that they have been that about Evolution Mining that they received this letter, but I just want to reiterate the impact that this could potentially have on the show, because I know that last year, because it was now the Bland Shire, whole of the Bland Shire, that there were a lot of Evolution Mining families that actually showed up that didn't previously because they didn't want to go without the father or whatever it might be. And I know that that significantly increased the numbers that went through the gate last year. So without knowing the reason why they want to do it, if it's not significant and they could keep to the original date, it might be in their best interest. However, I do realise that that is obviously not council's decision. I'm happy to endorse the change. However, I just hope that they know that this could impact their numbers.
I have some information from the director regarding the reason for the change.
The reason for the change is that that date conflicts with a date of a show being held elsewhere. The Showman's Guild, who are the people who come and support shows, have committed to that other site. If the Show Society stuck with this original date, they may not have, they wouldn't have
so many
because
rides.
The guild won't support them.
Yep.
So that's the purpose for the change.
Very good. Councillor Crowe, did you want to make a comment on this?
The only thing I'd like to make comment on is I can't remember seeing whether we'd had a different motion passed to put the original date as a public holiday or not.
You did a couple of years ago.
We had.
Yeah. So is it still a public holiday?
Yes.
Under our motion?
It's connected to show.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I know it's connected to the show, but
It is. We have been in correspondence with the state government about the proposal to change, and they advised us that we needed to go through the consultation process again, which we did, and do the report to council, which we have. If council endorses it, we can then write to them and advise them that this is the will of the council, and it will then be up to them to determine whether it is a public holiday or not.
the other date.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good. Is there any further questions about Councillor Lord?
Basically, the question I have is that I'm still getting feedback from people, particularly people further out west, dramatically, is the fact that they're simply saying is that it should be the public holiday for the West Wyalong Town Improvement Area and Toowoomba and whatever else. The people in Withally, the people in Narradin are basically say they don't come to the show. It's an onerous burden on them, particularly if they've got people working and things on the farms and in businesses, because it means they're actually paying penalty rates. Effectively, I support the half-day holiday, but I support it for the West Wyalong Toowoomba areas. Withally has their own show. They're happy to basically be supporting that. Narradin, they're not coming in. They're going to Lake of Jellicoe and everything else anyway. And I believe we've had submissions effectively with regard to that. But I've had a lot of comments and support it, but for the West Wyalong, as we had previously in the West Wyalong and Toowoomba town improvement areas. And probably would like to move a motion, amend the motion that way.
You'd like to move an amendment to the motion?
Yes, yeah, for
West Wyalong and Toowoomba.
town improvement areas.
Would you like to comment on that?
Sorry, if you can just bear with me, Mr Mayor, because I'm just going to check the minutes from 2 years ago when council actually sought through today.
Councillor Fennell.
Okay. If Councillor Law's got that information from the various areas, I also had information from other various areas, like with Ali, not with Ali, but with Ungary and some other different places where it was the inclusiveness of the children to be able to participate in the show, and they put entries in, and that created interest and it brought people into it. So whilst it's mentioned there from Councillor Lord that it didn't come from anywhere else, I would like to say that it did have an impact on other communities, and they did comment and have commented and look forward to being able to participate again this year. So I would feel that there would be a level of attendance at the show in 2026.
Councillor Brooks.
Can I just second what Councillor Fennell just said, please? I got the same feedback.
Okay, very good.
Okay, here it is. Actually, through you, Mr Mayor, when council put this, made the determination in October 2024, there were 3 councillors who voted against it being a whole of Shire public holiday. However, the majority of councillors voted for it to be a whole of Shire public holiday. So it is a matter. Pardon?
That should still stand.
Well, it was, as I said, it's a decision of the council.
So there has, so that particular part of the motion has been debated.
It has been debated, and council resolved that to apply for a local part-day public holiday between the hours of 12 noon and 6 p.m. for the purpose of the West Wyalong show on those particular dates, covering the whole of the Blantyre area. So it was a decision of this council 2 years ago that it be the whole Shire. If they choose to change that, then that's a matter for the council.
Okay, so you want to move an amendment, Councillor Lloyd?
I did move an amendment.
Right, yep. And we've got a seconder for that amendment? Councillor Minogue? Okay, we'll debate that amendment, that it's a, that when it's, so it's covering the whole of Blantyre, so it'd have to change to West Wyalong, Toowoomba is what you're proposing?
As it used to be.
As it used to be.
We actually can't, just have advice, we can't actually change that designation. We'd have to go through a whole engagement process again.
Okay, I'm getting information that we can't actually change that as part of this motion at this time.
We can do it.
We'd have to, Ms. Director, up you go.
We would need to go through the engagement process again, because council has already decided that it would be for the whole of the Shire. We only were advised to do the engagement on the change of date. So for us to now have to go back to the community and ask if it to be the whole of the Shire or only the original town improvement areas, it's going to delay the process. So
But we've got till September.
we do have until,
Answer ASAP.
however, the last time that we made application for the part-day holiday, it took us about 4 months to get a response from the government.
May, June, July, August.
If council is of a mind to change the area, it can be done as part of the consultation for the next application process, which we will need to start probably later this year, because we'll need to set dates for the future.
So, Councillor Lloyd, so from what the director's
Happily withdraw the amendment on those grounds.
on the base,
But give notice that we discuss it later in the year.
happy to accept that. Righty, I'll put the motion all the way. Oh, Councillor Crowe.
Just through some comments received from other councils here tonight, and reading, well, unfortunately I haven't been able to attend many community forums, but reading the minutes that are coming from those forums, a lot of people in our villages are not happy when we don't include them because we're West Wyalong and we're only West Wyalong centric. But then when we go and try and have a Blantyre public holiday, half a day public holiday, for them to come to West Wyalong to go to the show, so they're getting invited, the same people are not happy about that when they are getting included. Just think, I wanted to note that.
Are they?
It's called human nature, Councillor.
Yeah, and if we're going to go down the track that it's West Wyalong and Toowoomba, Well, Edmund doesn't have a show anymore. Hungary doesn't have a show anymore.
Fair comment, councillor Crowe. So I put the motion. All those in favour? Aye. Okay. Declare it carried. Right. Okay, so move on to page 66. 6.12 extraordinary meeting, operational plan and budget for 2026-27. The council approved the proposal to hold an extraordinary meeting of the council on Tuesday, the 5th of May 2026 at 6:30 p.m. for the purposes of endorsing the operational plan, revenue policy and budget for 2026-27. Moved, Councillor Lord, seconded. Councillor Minogue. We need any discussion? No. All those in favour? Aye. Declare it carried. Okay, now this on to section 3, page 68. Okay, technical services report 6.13. Recommendation that council receive and note the technical service report. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Minogue. Second to Councillor Fennell. Councillor Minogue, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of points to make. So on the, I'd like to give some feedback in a positive manner to the Director of Technical Services and his team for the work that's happening in Barmedland. I believe the Director would have received a text message from my husband that was received from a community member complimenting council on the work that specifically they've done in the Memorial Park in the lead up to Anzac Day. It's been greatly appreciated. There have been numerous comments made on the fact that the light in the park is not working and everybody is ecstatic about that. It's a simple that out the other night a lot that the park is showcased at night, because for those that don't know, it's actually out in the Union Jack.
Union Jack, yep.
So it is really quite special. A lot of people don't actually understand that. It was also commented yesterday when we had over 150 drivers and supporters in Barmedland for the National 1- and 2-cylinder vintage vehicle rally about how good the community was looking.
It looks fantastic.
And there were people from all over Australia that had a lot of time as they top speeders 50 k's an hour to take in the district. So I think that really highlights the value of working consistently with the community and council.
Excellent.
It's mowed within an inch of the floor.
You won't go that far. I'm just wondering on the biosecurity and weeds, if it was possible to have some social media attention given to weeds of significance that particularly are impacting on the roads network. The one that's really taking hold is the Feathertop Roads grass, and it's not just here in the Bland Shire. It is now stretching from one end of the state to the other, and it's travelling on the roads network, so the highways network. So I was just wondering if we could have some attention, because farmers are going to be impacted adversely by that, and I think if we had some social media coverage at the very least, it would highlight the importance of us all working together.
Director.
Yeah, that's noted. I'll talk to the team, and thank you very much for the compliment. Could I have it noted that it's a rare event?
Councillor Fennell.
We're always
Councillor Fennell, did you want to comment?
Just further this report to the Director of Technical Services. It's been very apparent on our trips out to the communities that this area cops a bit of a pounding. It really does. It gets all sorts of comments. And I'd like to congratulate the representatives of technical services that have been on those forums, that have had the
Just to turn up.
yeah, that's true, to answer the questions, because there are a lot of questions. Steve Reid in particular has been really put on the spot with so many questions about so many different things. He's onto everything. He's very approachable, and he does have a good response to the community that Council their backs. So I think it's been a very positive experience there. And there's still a couple of more to go.
Appreciate the comments. Councillor Henderson.
Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor. I'd just like to really second Councillor Minogue's comments and congratulate the technical services, especially the parks and gardens as well. I've noticed they've been doing a lot of work, a lot of trimming. Things are looking a lot nicer around the parks and gardens at the moment. And just point out prickly pear along down between here and Temora. I've noticed has exploded of recent times. So, yeah.
Okay, right. You know about the biological weapon.
Yeah.
It's not taken. Do you want to comment on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'll just answer. The prickly pear at the moment is subject to a little bit of R&D or experimentation where we're using an organic, or I'll use the word organic, I might be using the wrong word, approach to deal with it rather than a chemical approach. So they're still trialling that. So that sounds like Councillor Minogue.
Councillor Minogue.
I'm going to actually respectfully disagree with the approach that's being taken. The biological approach that is being used requires a significant community, whereas the prickly pear is a single plant, 200 metres away, another single plant. So a biological agent is not work, and it's not appropriate use.
Okay.
Take that on board.
I'll take that on board and talk to the team.
Very good. Okay. Councillor Brooks.
Just while we're talking about
Councillor Crowe first.
yeah, I ask nearly every meeting about the biological control. I'm not sure if you're trialling them at this certain location, but there's a scrub just out of Hungary, about 500 metres out of the town on Merrin Green Road, that it's just rampant with prickly pear. If you're looking for a community of them to trial, that's what we need, because it's not a native scrub anymore, it's just a prickly pear patch.
Very good. Thanks for your observation, Councillor. Councillor Brooks.
I want to talk about prickly pear. The Evolution running bus pickup point at McCann Park. That trial has concluded. That concluded back in February. They're still there. The community feedback is huge. They need to move. This is a tourist spot for caravanners to pull up in town. If they can't pull up, they're going straight through town. I feel that Evolution is probably a little bit slow in finding an alternative spot for their workers' park. I don't know what we can do as council, but we really need to move things on. I know we have a bit of a long-term solution, but we need this.
Mr. Director.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously the trial is over, and I'll talk to the traffic team and the engineer, but under the delegations, it'll come back to me, so I can actually. I've just got to find out exactly where to put it, and then I can actually get it done. So it's deciding where to send them is my issue, right? But I have the delegation to do it. I don't need to go elsewhere.
I have lots of ideas, but there's a lot of people that talk about either McAllister Oval down Park Street, like in front of the skate park there. There's plenty of room there. Potentially out at the White Elephant, lots of parking there. They're out of the way. I know we're talking about the Lions Park long term, that there's a few pothole issues at the moment, but like off the top of my head, that's three. Yeah.
So I think this requires a letter from your councillor to the Director of Technical Services suggesting.
I can do that.
Yep. Thanks very much, Councillor McGlynn.
And I'd like this brought to the full council, please. I think that some people have been informed about what the problem is and others haven't, and it's quite a divisive issue, and I think that this should be discussed by the full council.
Take that on board, Councillor McGlynn. We can do that. So, okay. Right, we'll put the motion that council receive and note the technical services report. I thought that was going to be very straightforward. Councillor No, would you like to say something?
No, I'm saying yes.
Okay, right. Okay. Put the motion. All those in favour? I declare it carried. Okay. Now, page 72. 6.14. Accessible facilities. The recommendation there that one, the accessible facilities report be received and noted. 2, the proposed projects be allocated in the 2026-2027 budget considerations. And 3, the future projects be continually reviewed for allocation in future budget considerations. Can I have a mover, please? Lord, you have a seconder?
Sorry, I'll move a slightly amended recommendation. I'll move that the accessible facilities report be received and noticed, and that the proposed projects be reviewed within the 26-27 budget considerations.
Okay, so just one allocated, replaced by reviewed. Very good. Have you got a seconder for that amendment? Councillor McGlynn? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour of the amendment? I declare it carried. So the recommendation then is that the accessible facilities report be received and noted. 2, that the proposed projects be reviewed in the 2026-2027 budget considerations. And 3, the future...
End of story.
Pardon?
It was
1 and 2.
Only 1 and 2, so leave 3 out.
leave 3 out at this stage.
Okay, so we're looking at 1 and 2. So I'll put the motion that it's 1 and 2 and that the proposed projects be reviewed in the 2026-2027 budget considerations. You happy with that?
Yeah. Can I ask for a point of clarification?
You may.
Sorry. So does that mean anything after 26, 27 is excluded?
It's excluded within these considerations, but it can come up in future.
Be reviewed later. You happy with that?
I understand, I'm not happy. So I'll be voting accordingly.
Okay, all right.
Can I just?
You may.
I think the point number 1 will deal with it because it says the accessible facilities report be received and noted. That lays out all the things that we are due to do in the coming years. The only left thing, and we have to do them. It's a matter of when we do them, when we have the money. So there's nothing falling off the list. It's just a matter of.
Okay. So we move.
Well, the most important one.
Isn't that what we're just moving, that they can move off the list?
Yeah. That was my...
No, they're not.
No, I don't think so. They won't, they'll just be,
I'm informed from the director that these will all fall into the long-term financial plan, which council will have to review every year anyway.
yeah.
So do we need this amended motion?
No, it's not what we have to amend every year.
No. So if it's going to fall into the long-term financial plan, it'll be reviewed anyway. I think, Councillor Lord, you're getting what you need for the original motion.
Yeah.
So just for clarification, so we're moving 1, 2 and 3?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So we're not committing.
Go back to where
We'll go back to the original motion. We'll put the original motion, the accessible facilities report be received and noted. The proposed projects be allocated in the 2026-27 budget considerations.
No.
3, the future projects be continually reviewed for allocation in future budget considerations.
No, where it says allocated,
You want reviewed?
yeah, and it says to be allocated. In other words, you're committing it.
Considerations, budget considerations.
But they're allocated in there.
Into the considered.
Into the considerations. So they are going to be looked at.
Yeah,
So you're happy with?
as long as it's only considerations, as long as we're not committing.
No, we're not committing. That's right. So,
Consideration.
okay, so we're committing to considering it. Right, okay, so we'll move the original motion as it is. I'll put that now. All those in favour? All right, declare it carried. Okay. Move on to page 76.
Before you continue, is there something burning in the kitchen?
Check.
I know it says yes.
Be dinner.
I can't.
Someone's motion moved and
If it's cold, then I can smell something.
seconded it. I wasn't even on.
Okay, it's all good.
From outside.
Okay, so now we'll move on to, we've got an electrical problem up there. Okay.
The lights are on, but no one can say.
We'll move on to 6.15. I never use this. Move on to 6.15, drag strip project, change of location and revised delivery approach. There's a recommendation there that council receive and note the project systems and support officers' report regarding the relocation of the proposed drag strip and the revised delivery approach. Can I have a mover? Councillor McGlynn's moving it. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Henderson is seconding it. Okay, Councillor McGlynn, would you like to speak?
Yes, we can get this up and running. It's gone on for years and years and years. And we've got the plan, let it happen. Because this is going to be a major tourism thing for us.
Councillor Henderson.
Do it.
Right, Councillor Henderson.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. Obviously, this is self-explanatory. There are issues and constraints that have come up. So for moving the motion, the recommendation.
Are there any other comments? Councillor Brooks.
I some concerns. Obviously, we can't pay biodiversity costs of $7.5 million. We like to say we have that much money. We don't. And that's option one, which is obviously off the table in my eyes. Option two, the upgrading the existing runway. Dot point number 4 there states that it supports aviation emergency services and limited motorsport activities. Now, you know, it was obviously Western Wheelers that got this up and going, and the main attraction is their activities. If this is limiting what they're going to do, and I'm not too sure whether it will or not, that's one concern. Is it not going to be able to deliver the tourism that we want it to deliver? My other concern is if it is on the runway, we obviously have to close the runway while these are on it. Now, it's a weekend event, 3 or 4 day event, so you've got pack up and shut down afterwards. It's over a week that our runway could be closed.
And a half prior, and whatever, a day and a half.
So what happens if an air ambulance needs to come in this time?
These are all issues.
I had concerns.
Yeah, okay, well,
Mr. Director.
I'll just deal with them. Just the one word that's missing there is the proposal is to put it on the secondary runway, right? Not the main runway. So to it, I'm just, okay, so that's an error on our part. It's a secondary runway. And the reason we've gone with that is because the secondary runway is already cleared.
Yeah.
Right? And that means that we should not incur any biodiversity credits issue. Right. So I won't make any commitment about the budget at the moment, but it should look better. Right. So that's all I'm done.
Councillor Brooks.
So that gets rid of the second half of my concern. The first half is that it states limited motorsport activities. I would like to know what that means.
This is all going to be for further discussion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, it will come to the mayor. It'll come back for further discussion. But essentially, wheelers are committed to maximum of 4 events a year, is what they're talking about. And then it's a matter then of how we design the secondary thing about it's the crash barriers and things about putting them in place and putting them back in the shed. These are the issues that we have to resolve.
This at the moment, this is just a receive and note, the concept itself. And there's obviously going to be further discussion around all the nuances associated with it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, is there any other further comments on this? If there are any, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? I declare it carried. Okay, so we move on to page 80. 6.16, request for council co-funding commitment. Recommendation there that Council 1 endorse the submission of a grant application under the Safer Local Roads and Infrastructure Program for road shoulder rehabilitation works across the Bland Shire. 2, commit $1 million as Council's co-funding contribution to support the application. And 3, authorise staff to progress project development and grant submission through the relevant Commonwealth portal. Can I move Councillor Lord, seconded Councillor McGlynn. Councillor Lord, would you like to speak?
I think this is a very valid proposal, and happy to support it coming out of our uncommitted unreserved funds to go into that particular thing because it's an opportunity. There are not many grant opportunities that come up as 4 to 1. And effectively looking at the state of our roads, it's something we need to have to go for. And if we can get $5 million work done for the cost of $1 million, then I fully support it.
Absolutely. Councillor McGlynn.
I support it in the fact that it's not so cost effective for the council, but also it's an issue that's been brought up continually for us. And it's a safety issue. I think the whole thing is it's just falling into our lap and we should do it.
Perfect. Are there any comments from any other councillors? Councillor Carnegie.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. This is a very good opportunity, as Councillor Lord has intimated. It's also a very important issue because road transport, freight task in our Shire, we've got much larger vehicles operating on our original narrow roads. The shoulders are a major issue, and I've experienced that myself on the local roads that I use, with several crashes in the same locations due to the shoulders not being adequately maintained.
Absolutely.
Yep. So very important issue, this one.
I think. Any other comments from any other councillors? If there are none, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declare it carried. On to page 83. 6.17, construction workers accommodation reform, stage 2. Recommendation there that council endorsed to opt in to the new construction workers accommodation provisions contained in part 13, accommodation for relevant construction workers of the State Environmental Planning Policy Housing 2021. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Minogue, seconder, Councillor Crowe. Councillor Minogue, would you like to speak to it?
Just briefly to say that we don't know what is in the future, and it would be wise to local government area recognised
Absolutely.
just on the off chance.
Absolutely.
Are there any other comments from any other councillors? If there are no other comments, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? I declare it carried. Okay, so we'll move on to page 87. 6.18, Development and Regulatory Services Activity Report. Any comments, councillors?
Question, please. Number 3, 676, Heath Lane up Western. Subdivision boundary adjustment. 111 is in a chart. Could you explain that to me?
Mr. Director.
Councillor McGlynn, I'll have to take that on notice. I'm not across the exact details about that.
Heath Lane in our chart.
Just the adjustment.
So, okay.
You go a fair way out. You get very close.
Library report and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, we can see from-
Steve Reed was here, you know that. Yes.
Yeah, but what about the
We're all dealt with it. Oh.
Very good. Are there any further comments about Development and Regulatory Services Activity Report, councillors? Okay. If there are none, I'll put the recommendation the council receives and notes Development and Regulatory Service Activity Report for March 2026. All those in favour? I declare it carried. Page 7, the reports of committees.
Right.
Yeah. There was, I think. Who moved that motion then? Do we have a mover? We had a mover for that, for the adoption of those?
Didn't.
We didn't. Oh, okay, we didn't. Right, I'll leave a mover and a seconder for the adoption of that report. Councillor Lord. And no, that was a separate one, I think, and Councillor Henderson. Okay. All those in favour? I declare it carried. Okay, done. Right. Now, reports of committees. Councillors, are there any questions regarding committee reports? This is very different looking business paper. Councillor Minogue.
There's only one question I have with
I'd just make a comment. The Goldenfields water minutes have become very brief all of a sudden. I went back to our August meeting of 2025 and we had 3 Goldenfields ordinary meeting minutes provided and there were 140 pages. Now
This is the economy edition.
Yeah, I think that's fair comment. Councillor Lord.
Can I make a comment? Our minutes consist of 2 pages or 3 pages as well, but you have to read them in conjunction with your business papers. Okay. And effectively, what was happening in the past, we were getting the business papers and the minutes.
Okay.
This time, we're actually only getting the minutes. So we need to actually have the business papers included in the thing.
You need to request
they are now online, admittedly, but maybe we should link. But that's why I make the same comment as Councillor We're actually only getting the resolutions the same as we're effectively getting here. We're not getting the background information.
We've downloaded those business papers, so we get the lot. Include those in our reports.
I have, for information, I have been and read, but even still, we are getting a very almost redacted version. And the cynical part of me was just wondering why.
The Reader's Digest book version we're getting.
Okay, very good. Councillor Crowe, can you take our concerns back to Goldenfields, please?
Yes, our next meeting is on Thursday, so I'll take those concerns.
Very good.
Maybe it's because when we asked for the minutes. We didn't ask for the business.
Okay, right.
So I'll check.
Perhaps we'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Check both.
Crowe, and we'll assume that there was no skullduggery involved. Are any other comments from any other councillors regarding reports? Yes.
The only other one I have is with regard to the cow gold operation, the environmental management. I've asked the question previously, how come the Forbes Council has 2 representatives on that committee and all the others only have 1? I have actually asked that one previously.
It's been asked for years and years and years.
Okay, right. Well, we need an answer back on that, Mr. General Manager, Mr. Acting General Manager. So we want to know why we only have 1 representative on the Cow Environmental Committee and Forbes has 2. So if we could get a response on that, that would be good. Okay. Councillor Brooks.
Just a thought, and I could be wrong, that we have a second for Blame Shire Council. I believe it's Councillor Crowe. So
We do have 2.
we do, yeah, what do you call it when?
We have 1 and an alternate.
Alternate, thank you.
Okay.
We have an alternate. Are they the alternates and they're both just showing up? I'm not too sure, but could be.
Could we get clarification on that issue? Okay, yeah. That'd be good. Okay. Are there any other questions regarding any of the other reports? Councillor Minogue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Maybe Councillor Carnegie can help me with this one regarding the RFS and the Mardar Road fire. They're still awaiting the report from HQ.
Yep.
These are the minutes of Wednesday, the 25th of March 2026. The fire was actually the 6th of March 2025. And also regarding that fire, an action item was as soon as possible for Transport for New South Wales to inspect the damaged trees that are along the Newell Highway. If that's still an action item, I think it's
overdue.
Totally, yeah.
Councillor Carnegie, would you like to make a comment on that?
Yes, I would. The wheels turn very slowly. However, in terms of the tree issue, we were assured that that was going to be actioned almost immediately. There are 2 strike teams, for want of a better word, supposedly coming to the area in the next month or so. So let's wait and see.
I suggest we write a strong letter to them about the delay, expressing our
It's an issue that multiple agency representatives spoke about, but it just seems that they get caught up in the process.
I think we need a letter from council, Mr. General Manager. We need a letter to the RFS expressing our disappointment that the issue hasn't been dealt with in a reasonable period of time. Yes, Councillor Noakes.
That how the fire was actually dealt with in the first place.
Yes, the response was slow. I think the response and the particular fire was close to some residential housing and also right on the highway itself. So it was a danger to the public. Should have been dealt with, very quickly, and the response wasn't great.
Local landholders with little.
The local landholders took more of an interest than the RFS. So if we could express our displeasure, okay, that'd be good.
Because we also went to that.
There's more, and there's more. Busy.
You're expecting a fire, there's not going to be on tree that gets burnt. I mean, what a complete and utter waste New South Wales services and money, and it shows you the RFS really is off the plane. Of course, we're going to have trees that are damaged. So they go around and every fire and count every tree that's damaged.
We could express Councillor McGlynn's views as well in the letter. Are there any further comments regarding reports? Councillor Lord.
Just again, a question with regard to the Ungary station. I mean, there's basically, I think they were going to have it at that Ethel Street or wherever it was, they were going to have it, and then it was delayed. And is it still delayed, or have they decided on the site?
So they have decided on the site, so they'll be progressing that. They were waiting on the flood mapping to be finalised, and that's now
Fair enough.
been done. So, yeah.
Very good. If there's no further discussion or questions regarding the reports, I need a mover and a seconder to adopt those reports, please. So mover, Councillor Henderson, seconder, Councillor McGlynn. All those in favour? I declare it carried. Now I need a mover to close the meeting. Councillor McGlynn, Councillor Brooks, all those in favour? I declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much.